Alright, so we're going to use this little ICF foundation to illustrate how we can get the system families of the floors and the walls to work together based on their construction layers or their assembly makeup to do some of the heavy lifting of the detailing. So if you take a look here, I've got this wall type. It's a basic ICF foundation, 12 inches of concrete. And then I have a floor type here that says 3 inches, lightweight concrete, yada yada, just an out-of-the-box Revit family. Okay, so if I want to take a look and see what this thing is doing, how the sketch was defined, I would go to the floor itself and hit Edit Boundary. And I'm going to recreate this for the time being just to illustrate how I want to go about doing this. And so take these lines out. And when I look at this guy, this is actually notched. So there's a little bit more done on this already. But essentially from the wall itself, I want to make sure that I've got 3 inches of bearing on concrete. So in order to do that, I want to go to a level that I know is intersected by these walls. So if I go to the top of footing, I should see these walls. Right now, I'm only seeing concrete, so that's kind of indicating to me that I don't have the detail level on to show the multiple layers. So now I can actually see the multiple layers of the wall, and I can determine where I want that floor to go. So I'm going to choose my pick walls option in the sketch options here, and the offset is actually got to be a negative number, because watch what happens. If I choose 3 inches for my bearing requirement, you'll notice that I don't really get what I'm after. And so I want to get 3 inches. I want that to go to the inside, but I also have to consider if it's the right amount, and that actually looks correct. So I put in my -3. I'm wanting to get the 3 inches in from the structural layer. So let me just place that. And yeah, there it goes. So it's actually going in not from the foam, the outside face of the EPS, from the structural layer. So if I click on this guy and say create similar, or just go back to my pick walls, it remembers my settings from the last time. And when I grab the other walls, it should follow suit with the rest of them. And now you can see where my level is going to be. The height offset from the level is -1 inch. Let's just see what we get. So it says, would you like the walls that go up to this floor's level to attach? I say don't attach. I always disregard this. So I'm going to click don't show me this message again and don't attach. And on this one, I do actually want it to remove this geometry. So I'm going to say yes, and then take us back into 3D. And if I go and interrogate the makeup of this wall, chances are I'm going to see a sweep or a reveal in here, sorry, that's actually removing some of that. So let's go to edit type. And I want to preview this wall. So right now when I hit preview, I'm looking at it in plan. And then change that to section down here. And you can see that there's actually a piece of geometry that's been removed with a reveal here. So let's just take that out, hit delete. And we're going to see the ramifications of this here quite quickly. So when I select my floor, you can actually see it goes into the geometry. But I'm also, my walls are going up a little bit higher, and that's because I've got this -1 here. So let's just take that out and put a 0 in there. And now you can see the interference between the floor and the wall. But if we go to our join feature and I click on the wall, or sorry, the floor first, everything that I click after, if I hit tab, should engage the multiple join tool. So I didn't hit join multiple, I just hit join and then tab, and now that should let me click on the rest of them. And if we take any of these specific walls and we section them, so just grabbing that, you can see that the join command itself is actually doing that dirty work for us. So I should have that 3-inch bearing for my concrete floor here. Okay, so that's provided you use the join tool correctly and the layers correctly. Let's say we didn't use that offset. So let's take the section off of this and we go back. Let's just modify those, do these again. And this time I'm going to use the pick walls option without that offset. We'll just put that at 0. This time I'm not even going to bother going to that plan view to worry about it, because I know what's happening when I select these walls is it's just using the outside face of the core or the inside face of the core. Let's try that again. Section through. And now you can see that the concrete of the floor goes all the way to the outside face of the concrete of the wall, which isn't essentially necessary. However, you could detail it that way if you wanted to. So anyway, in a nutshell, that's how you get these things to work together. There's a little bit more to this in these layers themselves. So if I go into the wall and I look at these boundaries, I have to pay attention to the core boundaries, these ones that are halftone gray in the background. So you can see these as well, and here they're defined by a green line. Right. So if you were to put your rigid insulation to the inside by clicking up on that, now you can see that my cut behavior would not be correct. So sometimes in new templates, sometimes we see all the assemblies within the core boundary, and then we can't really use that functionality because it's not respecting the rules of the assembly. So anyway, that's that. Just make sure that you use the join tool, or when you're modifying your sketch, that you do in fact ask it to extend into the wall core, and when it asks you if you want to embed or cut the geometry, you want to say yes to that.